Right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And so welcome to the session. So we are from Infosyte. We will be bringing you some live session with some interesting topic every month. And so for this month, on today, we're going to bring you the topic on backup. Because last month, if you know, 31st of March is the World Backup Day. And this has reminded us how important it is to actually protect our data as we have become more reliant on technology today. All right, so next. Right, so for our today's sessions, I'll be the moderator. So my name is Gaby Liao. You can just call me Gab or Gaby. So I myself work here in Infosyte as a technical trainer. So mostly giving some training on AI and cloud services. And other than myself, we have also our guest speaker here, Daniel Fu. So he is our senior Veeam instructor who has taught Veeam courses for many years across many countries around the globe. So Daniel will be the one to tell us more about the tips and importance of backup into today's session. All right. And lastly, after Daniel has delivered his topic today, we'll also have our beautiful Infosyte sales manager, Jonas Koo, so to tell us more about the backup course promotion offered by Infosyte. So that if anyone has is interested to learn even more about the backup, you can take this opportunity to learn at the cheaper price as well. All right, so next. Okay, so Infosyte is an IT training company, if you know about that. So we are the IT training company. So we have provided IT training for over 10 years, covering major IT brands like Microsoft, like, Huawei, LPI, Veeam, and etc. And so we, Infosyte as well, is one of the Veeam authorized education center, especially in Malaysia. So we are the only one Veeam authorized education center that has been recognized to conduct their VMCE program. Right? So no matter you want to have the Infosyte training online or offline, you can of course talk to us about that because we do provide training both virtually and physically with our facilities in the Setiawak Puchong. Okay, so it depends on the requirement. You can always tell us your requirement. All right. And so next. So before we start our session for today, let me introduce a little bit about the agenda of today first, right, to you guys. So these are the topics that will be delivered by our guest speaker, Daniel, including like data loss amount to date, data type and size, and why backup is important, and etc. Okay. So later after Daniel has delivered the topic, so we will have our sales manager, Jonas, to briefly introduce about the class promotion offered by Infosyte. And lastly, after all, we will have a lucky draw session together. So everyone in this Zoom session, right, will have a chance to be the winner of our lucky draw, as long as you can stay until the end of the session. All right. So for those who is watching this live session from Facebook, please do join us in a Zoom with the meeting link provided at the Facebook post caption, so that you can also be one of our lucky draw winners. All right, so everyone, please name yourself properly, as we will be selecting 3 participants from the Zoom participant list for some small gifts. All right, and so now I think without further ado, let me pass the floor to Daniel. All right.
Okay, thank you, Gaby. Okay, so good day, everyone. My name is Daniel. So we just see from the introduction slide just now. So I'll be the one who is showing some tips to actually increase the awareness of data protection for most of the IT infrastructure and data center here. So first, I'll be sharing some data loss amount today. Now, as we all know that for the current IT market, data is actually valuable to most of the company and businesses. That is why nowadays, even viruses like ransomware, they are basically hijacking your data. So you will know that ransomware nowadays, when you actually got hit by this attack, your data will go encrypted, etc. And they now actually attack even up to server and also virtual machine level. That's why later we'll also share what kinds of data actually available in your infrastructure there. And we will also see what kinds of tips to actually protect your data itself. So let's look into some news over here. As you can see, for global ransomware attack, data loss amount averaging for businesses now go up to 4.62 million in USD. So as we know, the name called ransomware here, basically hackers is asking for ransom payout, okay, in order for them to unlock your data. That is why if you're actually unlucky enough to got attacked by ransomware, that is when you will see how much you need to pay for your data set usually. Now, average ransom demand from the hacker will go up to like 5.3 million, depends on how huge and how important your data is. And then you will see the average even me-sized company payout can go up to $100,000. And one of the news whereby the US travel service company here, CWT Global, actually set the world record payout in July 2020 that they actually hand over up to 4.5 million in USD to the Ragnar Locker ransomware gang. So you will see that the demand is still over there because companies actually tend to get attacked from all these viruses, and they do actually get what they want. That is why ransomware until today, few years back, is still very active. So we should actually be more aware about this kind of security concern. So as we know that data is very important now, then let's see what kinds of data are actually available in your production environment usually, okay, and also the types of sizes. Now, according to the Statista, so you will see that data center comes up to 570 terabytes on-premise data up to year 2020. It is actually up to 91% increase compared to year 2020 because we have a lot of services going on and off, and I am not covering data in the cloud yet. Okay, so when we look into data protection, usually we will need to see what do we have on-prem over here. Most likely you will have virtual machine data. So most of the company now, in order to actually save costs and increase the utilization, most likely they will basically run their application inside the virtual machine itself. So do you know that actually virtual machine data will also be open for ransomware attack? Okay, so there are some articles and news mentioned that even VM data now will also get encrypted by ransomware in certain cases. And some of the environment, they might be using physical server to offer their application services. And if the entire machine actually got attacked by ransomware, you have nothing able to get it recovered. Another more common data usually will be running in small, medium, even large enterprises will be file server, or what we call sometimes NAS data set, where all your documents, your DO, invoices, everything will be stored here. So imagine if you're unlucky enough, all those data actually got encrypted, then we basically lost all our records to the company. Okay, that's why all these data set and type, we should actually think of a way to protect them. That's where backups actually comes in. So now, why backup is very important and pretty easy, you will see that most of the production environment, first problem we have usually will be human error. Now, humans tend to make mistake, accidental deletion, etc. Things like this do happens in most of the production environment. So if you do not have a backup, if the user actually deleted the data itself, you have nothing to recover also. Not to mention hardware tend to fail sometimes. Okay? So even if you buy the highest grade hardware server itself, they will also tend to have failure rate in number. So basically this might caused by external factor like power surge, whatsoever things it is. And not to mention viruses, as we mentioned just now, ransomware, things is, and also disaster. As we know, Malaysia tend to have flash flood issue. So if your officers is sitting in some of the high risk area, maybe it's a better idea to also protect your data, at least with a backup. So you will see these are certain problem and also event that is actually unpredictable. As you know that from news, the flash flood actually happens within half an hour time. If you do not have your data protected earlier, it will be quite a disaster to the company. So what is actually a backup? So when we talk about backup, backup is actually copies of your important data. So the important data that we mentioned just now, maybe your virtual machine data, your server data itself entirely, and also your NAS data. And after we have this backup, we can use it to restore your lost data and recover your service too, because it's actually a redundance of your original important data set. So once you make a backup, it's actually a standalone data set that we can now choose to keep them in a different, more safer location. And if your production environment is pretty high risk, like I mentioned just now, maybe due to flash flood, whatsoever things is. So with backup here, we already know the importances of backup, etc. Then what are the best practices? Is it making a single backup will be enough? Not necessary. Now, according to the Global Backup Specialist Group, they do agree that best practices for backup should maintain at least these 3-2-1 rules. Okay, so at least, so this is the bare minimum. So what do you mean by number 3, 2, and 1? So first thing, let's see. Number 3 here, including first will be your production data. And your production data is the active running data. And we will be usually making backups of your production data into maybe one backup here. Now, why do we need this 3-2-1 rules? Pretty easy. If you have only a single backup, we are not very sure that later, if your production data having any issue, do these backups still able to restore your environment? Especially this backup might sit in a different hardware and also tend to have failure too. That is why in order for us to have a more complete protection, we should have another additional backup set. That is why with this production data, 1 copy, backup 1 and 2, another 2 additional copies of your active data, we now come with the number 3 rules here. Total minimum 3 copies of your data, okay, to act as a bare minimum protection here. Now, as we already know why we need to make additional backup here, it's because we should also store them in different equipment here, so that our backup will also be protected from the hardware perspective. So if hardware 1 having issue, I still have another hardware here, keeping a backup 2 for me to restore my environment. That comes with the rule number 2 here. Okay, so 3-2-1 rules. Then the last one, usually hardware 2 will be recommended to store in another different offsite location too. This is to protect in case your production environment having some disaster event, maybe fire hazard, flash flood, etc. You still have another offsite location for you to restore data to maybe another new production site if required. So as you can see here, this is the best practices agreed by most of the backup expertise in the group itself. And this is mainly the bare minimum. So if we can keep more than this number, it will be even better usually. So let's see. These are basic standard things that we are talking about. So we will also be introducing today what Veeam backup actually is. So Veeam, I think most of you already heard about this product name itself. Veeam is actually one of the leaders in backup and recovery and data management here. So their data protection ranked number 1 in EMEA market, which actually covers Europe, Middle East, and also Africa. And second place worldwide, according to Gartner, actually. So Veeam is quite good in protecting certain data set, and they are basically the top 3 solution that you can see in the enterprise backup or data protection solution. Now, using Veeam itself, what are the supported data types? So just now we do mention about it, in most of the production environment now do runs in one sort of virtualization environment, and the common mainstream one will be VMware, Hyper-V, or even Nutanix. Now, if you're running these 3 platforms here, Veeam will able to help you to protect your virtual machine data. Okay, so they will basically pull your VM data as another additional set to keep it at a different location if you want to. Now, if you are still running physical server application services, Veeam do have Veeam Agent Backup to also cover these lines of production equipment. So covering Windows, Linux, Unix, and also Apple Mac machines. So if you do have some user that is utilizing Mac itself, and you are concerning on the data sitting in the machine itself. Okay, machine tend to fail. Yeah, this is the main problem here. So using Veeam agent, we can also back up Mac internal user data if you want to. Okay, so you have supported here, including Mac, and lastly will be your NAS file server data. So if you have all your documents, etc., sitting in the NAS storage or even a file server, Veeam can also help you to protect these types of data set too. That's why usually when you are looking into data protection itself, in order to minimize the investment cost, we should actually get one backup solution that can cover most of the production data area here. So let's see. When we talk about best practices, just now Veeam already showed you what particular data type do they support and whether Veeam able to support these 3-to-1 rules or not. Definitely. So you will see that Veeam actually offers not only 3-to-1 itself as a bare minimum, Veeam also added additional 1 and 0 behind. So let's see what is these additional things come in handy. So first 3 copies of data, Veeam can actually offer them with backup feature, first thing. And we can also make additional backup copies to create additional backup data and store it into different media too, based on your own configuration. So from Veeam configuration point perspective is quite flexible. It's based on the administrator to set which equipment that you want to actually keep it, even offsite supported here. Now, using offsite location, Veeam do support not only your on-prem equipment sitting in your DR side, we do also support some public cloud storage, such as Amazon S3, Azure Blob, etc. So if you do not want to invest into your own DR center, you might able to leverage some of these public cloud storage to help you keep one additional set of data offsite, so that you can at least minimize overall cost to fulfill these 3-to-1 rules. So if you're utilizing Veeam solution, they even give you 1 additional or 2 additional number here. First will be this immutable repository. Now, your backup data might tend to also get attacked by ransomware. This do happens in some of the location too. Now, if your backup data is still online, you might get infected by ransomware. So that's why Veeam actually suggests to also keep your data in the offline air gap, maybe using tape devices, which Veeam do able to support it, or utilizing a Linux immutable repository here. So if you're interested to know more on this, you can actually Google up to veeam.com to see what is this particular feature. And we do cover this in the upcoming Veeam training over there. And lastly will be the number 0 here. Veeam do offer the sure backup testing function to make sure to test your backup sitting in your storage to see whether do they have any errors in recovering your services or not, things like this. That's why you see Veeam do able to support the bare minimum and also with additional feature here to make sure your data is much more productive here. And just a reminder here, as you can see, our lucky draw session is based on your early registration and also when you join to the Zoom session here. So participants that actually join later than this particular PPT slide will not be entitled to actually join the lucky draw session. Yeah, just a reminder here. So those that already been in the session for quite some time, you will be entitled to actually join the lucky draw later. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you are interested to know more for Veeam, okay, so most of the time when we talk about enterprise solution, you will know that it will not be cheap or low in cost usually, but that is not the case for Veeam actually. Now, when you look into Veeam license package, okay, we are talking about the paid licensing here. Veeam do come with free trial available from the website to download for 1 month usage, or even you can use the community free edition that comes with limited feature. Now, if you want more feature and more machine support in backup, then you should actually get this Veeam Backup Essential license package. This license package is designed for SME environment that can go up to 50 instances that requires $420 USD annual subscription. So every year you need to pay 420 USD minimum to protect up to 5 virtual machine, physical machine, or your NAS data set up to 2.5 terabyte. So if you need more, we just need to add on additional 420 USD per 5 instances. So this will basically bring down the overall investment cost to start your data protection solution. Now, if you're looking into more machine to protect, usually this is required for mid-range and higher tier environment, then we should upgrade the license package to backup and replication. That will come within a higher cost here with 10 instances minimum. And every time we need to add in additional 10 instances by 1,302 USD per year. So we are basically subscribing something like an insurance package here to pay annually to make sure our data will be safely protected, yeah, using this kind of solution here. So that's why you will see the license package from Veeam itself is not very high in cost. It's a good idea here to actually look into it more in depth if you are looking for some of the data protection solution for your environment. Okay, so those are for the Veeam product itself, just to intro to you all if you are not familiar with it. And now if you want to know more how to actually implement the solution itself, we do offer Veeam training program here that covers your configuration and management. So how you can set up your entire Veeam software, how can you actually configure the software to protect your environment will all be covered in this training program, what we call VMCE. So what actually VMCE is? It is actually stands for Veeam Certified Engineer Training. Now, this training is a 3-day instructor-led course, either virtual or physically. And the course itself, when you subscribe to it, they do come with online training material access, plus a 13 days online virtual lab practice. So the training itself will be covered by either one of the 2 Veeam certified trainer in Malaysia. Okay. So this candidate will able to attempt for the VMCE exam after completing the course with us, because we are the Veeam authorized education center. If you want to get certified with Veeam exam itself, you need to go through the education center to get your training, just like VMware, for example. Okay. Now, this training will be covered by either one of the 2 VMCT in Malaysia, one being my boss here, Mr. Yap. Okay, we come from the same company, and also myself here. We both are the Veeam certified trainer in Malaysia here. Okay, so based on the schedule availability, maybe you will get me or maybe my boss to actually handle the training for you. Now, if you do pass the exam, you will actually get your certificate and also the badge here to actually certify yourself as VMCE 2021, focused in the latest product version 11 here. All right, so that is the Veeam training program. Okay, so next I will pass the floor to Jonis to actually give some course promotion introduction here, yeah? So Jonis, I pass the floor to you. Thank you. Jonis, you're on mute, I think.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jonis from Sales Department. Thanks for your precious time to attend our webinar today. Hope our Veeam senior trainer, Daniel, have cleared your doubt or query in backup. I have good news for you guys, as we have an exclusive promotion up to 10% discount for you all. The package we offer, including official ebook, e-labs, and 1 exam voucher at 4,950 ringgit per pax before SST. You can choose either classroom training or online class in April or May intake. Last but not least, this course is also under HRD Corp Plan Waiver course. Hurry up to grab your seat and upskill yourself with this special discount. You may contact our sales department directly for registration, and please screenshot our email address and contact number now. Hope to see you in the near future. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, thank you, Daniel and Jonas, for the informative sharing. And so hopefully everyone is able to get some extra information from Daniel and Jonas sharing. All right. Okay. So of course, if you are interested to take a professional backup course, you can just contact our Infosyte sales team. So of course, we are not only just offering the backup related courses, but other IT courses like networking, storage, AI, big data, and so on are also courses that you can attend at Infosyte as well. So feel free to contact our sales team if you have any inquiries about the training course. All right. Okay. So other than contact our sales team, you can also learn more about all the courses offered by Infosyte through the Infosyte website at www.infosyte.com. Or maybe you can also find us at Facebook. Okay, you can leave comment in the post or private message us for any further inquiries. All right, so thanks again everyone for joining the session with Infosyte. Wish you have a great day and hope to see you in the upcoming session. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.